Hey guys, Cameron Smart for Doctor Who, Series 9, Episode 2, The Witch is Familiar. And obviously, I was hyped out of my mind for this episode. I mean, after last week's amazing series premiere, I really didn't know if this episode was going to be able to beat it. I mean, seriously. Like I said, it was a premiere of a series, not a series finale. It was a premiere of a series, and this was episode 2, and I didn't really know if this was going to be able to top that episode, and did this episode top it? No, it did not top that episode, and I didn't really think it would. It still was a damn good conclusion, though, and I say conclusion because, like I told you guys, a Part 1, Part 2 episode is the new norm for Doctor Who. They're pretty much doing it all season long. The next week's episode is part 1. It's another whole new story, so we're going to be back to that. But I like this part 1, part 2, so we have more time with the story. They don't feel as rushed, and definitely, I thought this episode was great. I really loved it. I thought it was a really good conclusion overall, and let's just get into it. There's a lot to get into, and yeah. So we start off right away realizing that Clara and Missy are actually not dead, which... Okay, yeah, I understand that obviously they're not going to kill them off because Clara is as essential as the Doctor, and if you don't have Clara, you can't have the Doctor. But basically, we see right away that Clara hangs upside down, and Missy is sitting nearby, and she tells Clara a story of the Doctor on the run and alone, and in her story, the Doctor is traveling by teleport and being attacked by android assassins, surrounded at gunpoint. And Missy then asks how the Doctor survived, because, you know, that's her biggest question, is how the hell did he survive this? And Clara asks where he got the teleport, and we realize that he stole it from the androids and used it to teleport when he should have been gunned down. So, it just shows how much of a genius the Doctor is. You know, even without a sonic screwdriver, he used this teleport. And it's the same technology that Missy used to escape death. And I thought that was a very good reveal, because obviously the thing going through our heads is, how the hell did Missy escape death? I like that they gave us an actual reason, and not just, oh, you know, she didn't die, because she can't die. I thought that was very good, and especially because a lot of people were wondering, you know, how this happened. I thought that was a very good reveal, that we realized that, you know, Missy used this technology to escape death. And Missy asks why the Doctor survives, and Clara says the Doctor always assumes he's going to win, but Missy points out he's now sent his will and thrown a going-away party, and she's cut down Clara now, and, you know, the whole time Clara was hanging upside down, and then she decides to cut her down. And they realize that they must march into the heart of the Dalek Empire with nothing but a pointy stick to save the Doctor, and they have to start by assuming that they're gonna win. Basically, that's what they have to do here. And I believe they're on the Dalek planet, if I'm not certain. That's where they were taken, so... Basically, that hypes up stuff right away, and then we are back with the Davros and the Doctor. We get some really good stuff between Davros and the Doctor. Like I said, this was my first time seeing Davros, and I have to say that it was very, very satisfying seeing Davros in these 2 episodes. Definitely, it didn't feel like, something I loved about these 2 episodes, that it didn't feel like you had to watch other Doctor Who episodes to understand the story between Davros and the Doctor, and that was something they did very well, and I definitely really love the story between them here. So Davros is gloating over the Doctor, and the Doctor picks up a Dalek blaster and points it at him, and the Doctor demands that Davros leave the infirmary that keeps him stable, and the Daleks mobilize to rescue him, and Clara and Missy observe from afar. The Doctor enters the Dalek chamber, riding in Davros' lower Dalek half, and the Daleks basically exterminate him right then and there. So Missy then pushes Clara into the Dalek sewers, and meanwhile the Doctor is unharmed by the Daleks' attacks, because obviously it turns out that Davros has a personal force field. So, in the sewers, so basically with his personal force field, it can't harm the Doctor. And you kind of realize that Davros is not going to kill the Doctor here. He's actually going to talk to him. There's very little action in this episode, surprisingly. I mean, there was action in this episode, but it was not as much as you might think. There was definitely a lot more talking and a lot more going on with that, which I actually really did like, I have to say. Because usually part 1 has all just like the setup and part 2 has all the action. And it was actually kind of reverse here. Part 1 had more action than this one. This did not have as much. This had a lot going on, but it was definitely a lot more dialogue driven than it was an action-packed episode. It was not like the finale, which, you know, the finale was amazing, and this was a great episode too, but that's something I thought was really great. So, in the sewers, Clara takes the pointy stick as if to kill Missy, and I'm like, why the hell are you gonna kill her? Like, she's the thing that's gonna help you. But, luckily, she takes it back, and Missy explains how the sewers are made with still sentient dead Daleks. And I think even though Clara, you know, wants to kill Missy, she realizes that if she killed Missy, she probably could not get out of this. So, the Doctor demands that Clara be returned to him safe, unharmed, and alive. Obviously, the Doctor's main concern is to get back Clara. He wants to make sure that she's alive. And Missy and Clara are overhearing, and Missy worries that the doctor without hope will burn down everything, and Davros then appears on a monitor screen, and the doctor's covered in colony and basically Colonel Sharf's snakes, and Missy gets Clara noticed by Dalek security and then cuffs her to the spot, and Missy's using Clara as bait to kill a Dalek, and I thought that was really smart of her. So a Dalek arrives and Missy begins poking hole. I mean, as dark as Missy is, I thought that was very smart. You know, in Missy's own way, it was a very smart thing for her to do. So Missy begins poking holes in the Dalek's exterior, and the dead Daleks attack and destroy him. It's a pretty funny scene. Like I said, I really am loving Missy as a character, and they used her even better in this episode than they did in the last one. I really hope they use her more. I know that she's probably not going to be in the next episode, but throughout the season, they definitely need to use her more because she truly is awesome, and she's one of the best things to happen to this show in a while, definitely. So, the doctor remembers the child Davros and awakes to Davros again in his chair, and I like how throughout this episode, he keeps having Davros on his mind. I feel like that's going to be on his mind throughout the season, throughout the series, basically. And he wakes to Davros again in his chair, and Davros reiterates that he's dying and says it's time to resume their business. And he tells the doctor to examine the cables and consider what they are and what they can do. So, basically, Clara and Missy then pop the top off the Dalek's armor, and Missy removes the Dalek inside, and she then tells Clara to get inside, and I was just thinking, I didn't really know what Missy's plan was here, but this just didn't really seem like the best plan overall. I didn't really know what she was trying to do here. So, Davros tells the doctor that the device is a relay that keeps him connected to all the Daleks on Skaro, the Dalek planet, and Davros is then leeching life from the Daleks to keep himself alive, and basically that is how Davros is staying alive. So the doctor realizes that he could kill all the Daleks from that moment, and Davros tempts the doctor to commit genocide, and basically he's just trying to get the doctor on board with what he's doing, tell him that, you kill all the Daleks and you gotta kill me too. But the thing is, the doctor obviously wants to kill him, and Davros basically, the doctor hesitates. He explains that he came not out of shame, but because Davros is sick, and he asks that he came out of compassion. That's why he came, and basically, he's not there, he's not there because he wants to kill the doctor. He's there because he wants to have one last meeting with the doctor. And that I thought was very interesting, how the show kind of threw us off in that way. Definitely, I really enjoyed that. And a lot of this episode, the villain is not Davros. The villain is grief. The villain is the regret and the confession that the doctor has. That really is the villain throughout this whole episode, and that I thought was very smart of them to do. Definitely, I really like the way the show did that. Something I really loved seeing, definitely. That was very well done. So, Davros asks why basically Missy then plugs Clara into the Dalek armor, and she learns to control it telepathically, and she's closed inside and speaks through the Dalek, but her name is constantly replaced by Dalek when she says I love you and you are different. They're replaced by exterminate, and emotion triggers a gun. Because, that's how Daleks are programmed. They're programmed a certain way, so certain things they're not gonna say, and it's very funny, but also very interesting to see Clara in this Dalek. I mean, it's kind of something we haven't seen before. It kind of reminded me of when she was up against the Cybermen in the finale and when she was pretending she wasn't actually Clara. This I thought was really interesting that we actually got to see Clara inside a Dalek, something that they hadn't done, and I really like seeing. And you can tell this whole time that Missy is having the time of her life, just like fucking with Clara. I thought it was definitely very funny, and I really enjoyed seeing that. So Davros asks the doctor why he left Gallifrey, and he says he was born, but Davros believes that he's lying. He knows there's more going on, and Davros has the doctor's confession dial, and he wants to know what's inside the confession dial, and obviously the doctor just doesn't want to admit what he did. He doesn't want to admit to Davros what ended up happening, and Clara then escorts Missy back into the Dalek stronghold, and Missy asks to see the Supreme Dalek, basically the one that the ruler of the Daleks, and the doctor then reveals to Davros that Gallifrey has returned and says it's safe for both of them, and Davros congratulates the doctor on having a race and a people again, and Davros then beckons the doctor closer, and he can see him with his own eyes, and he turns and this was giving me like Return of the Jedi vibes. I don't know why. It was giving me like Vader and Luke Skywalker vibes just because of the fact that, just the way he was saying it was very interesting. So he turns his Dalek eye off and opens his biological eye, and it's a very touching scene. I was surprised by how emotional this episode was, definitely. Like I said, this wasn't an action-packed episode. It was definitely a lot more emotional that I really like seeing, I have to say. So basically, he asks the doctor if he's done right, if he's a good man, and it dawns on the doctor that Davros really is dying. He didn't actually think that he was dying, but he realizes that, yeah, Davros is not lying. He is dying, and that's what he wants to do. And he actually wants, we realize here that he wants the doctor to protect the Time Lords as he sought to protect the Daleks. That's really what he wants him to do. He kind of wants the doctor to take over because he truly is dying, and that's why he will summon the doctor. So basically, Davros makes a joke saying the doctor is not a good doctor since he couldn't tell Davros was dying for sure. And Davros coughs and laments not seeing the sun with his own eyes one last time. And I really just love this scene between Davros and the doctor. You really think that Davros is sincere here when he's saying that he's dying. It was very interesting. So Missy's brought to the Supreme Dalek, and Missy demands to see Davros and offers Clara as a gift in return. And she's willing to basically have Clara die just so she could see a Supreme Dalek. And I love how even though Missy and Clara are on the same side, they're kind of competing to see, who's gonna end up living here. They both are kind of trying to kill each other. Like, Clara is trying to kill Missy, Missy's trying to kill Clara. It doesn't seem funny, but because the way Missy does it, it's very darkly humorous, and I definitely really like that. Especially in such a dark episode, it was nice that we had some humor in there. So Davros looks out over Skaro, while the doctor hooks some cables into Davros, and the doctor explains he's not helping Davros now, but the boy he left on the battlefield, admitting he owes him one more sunrise. And I like that he told Davros what was going on, but he still does not tell Clara what's going on. Even in this episode, he still has yet to tell her, and I think that's going to be something that the doctor just keeps inside of him throughout the whole series, pretty much. So Davros says he wishes just once they had been the same side, and the doctor says the sun is coming up and they're on the same side now, and Davros says he cannot open his eyes, and the doctor moves to inject Davros with a bit of regeneration energy, and Davros and then Colonel Seraph spring their trap, and Davros drains the doctor's regeneration energy to inject the Daleks with it. And basically, it's pretty obvious that he basically was just trying to get the doctor to sympathize with him. I think Davros is truly dying, but obviously he wants the Daleks alive so that way he can stay alive. That's what he wants to do, because the Daleks are what is keeping him alive, and obviously he's going to try to get rid of the doctor, because he knows the doctor would probably try to go after these Daleks. So the Daleks with the Supreme suddenly go silent, and they then glow with regeneration energy, and Missy runs to find the Doctor, and Clara chases after, and Davros recalls a Gallifreyan prophecy of a half-Dalek, half-Time Lord warrior race, and suggests this is what the Doctor ran from, and Missy arrives and shoots down Seraph's snake, severing the Doctor's connection to the Daleks, and the Daleks awaken stronger than before. Davros gloats over his victory, and the Doctor begins counting down and grabs his confession dial, and at 1, the planet shakes, and the Doctor reveals that he knew what Davros was up to all along, and allowing him to do it. So we see that, yeah, the Doctor does know what he's doing, and he mentions the sewers, and that generations of long-suffering Daleks are crawling up the pipes, and obviously he just wants the Daleks to take over the planet. That's what he wants to do here. So the Doctor and Missy flee, and Clara is still in the Dalek armor. Missy just kind of forgot about her, and I was kind of feeling like this episode was going to end with Clara in that Dalek costume, and like she'd be like, hey, did you guys forget me? But that would be really cheesy for Doctor Who, so I'm happy they didn't do that, because that'd be really stupid if they did. And basically, she tries to reveal herself to the Doctor, but can only say, and it's a very interesting scene here. I definitely really like seeing that. But basically, the Doctor and Missy, they destroy the Daleks and everything, and they stop that from happening. So Clara's in the Dalek armor, and she's trying to reveal it to the Doctor, but only can say that she is a Dalek. And, she's trying to tell him, look, I'm your friend. I care about you. It's me. It's Clara. And it's not working. He's not believing her. And Missy shows up and tells the Doctor that she is the Dalek that killed Missy. And Clara gets the Dalek to say mercy, which gives the Doctor pause, and he asks why the Dalek hasn't tried to kill him, because obviously Daleks, their main mission are to exterminate humans. That's what they want to do. They're not just going to sit and talk to someone. They're going to just destroy him. They see a human, they're going to kill him, especially the Doctor. The Daleks will do whatever they can. They kill the Doctor in a second, and this Dalek just hasn't done that. And he then tells the Dalek to open its casing, and Clara's revealed inside, and the Doctor then tells Missy to run. He realizes that Missy basically was trying to use Clara as bait, and that he realizes that Missy is the enemy here, and I love how even though, the Doctor and Missy, like I said last week, have a very complex relationship, they are enemies, but they're also, very much the same, and they very much, go together, and they're kind of this bond, but they will turn against each other, and they do pretty much do whatever they can to, while Missy does truly care about the Doctor, she will do whatever she can to destroy Clara. And it's pretty much, I think, because of what she said to Clara last week, that Clara is pretty much a puppy to the Doctor, and I think Missy kind of just wants to be the next companion. And that could be interesting to see if that happened. I knew that would not I know Missy's not going to be the companion, but if she's trying to really take over and, basically do what Clara does and just try to be a stronger ally to the Doctor than Clara is, this could potentially be a very compelling storyline, and I really feel that they have to do more of this, because I really love what they're doing with this, definitely. So the Daleks are in chaos, the sewers turn against the Doctor. The Doctor invites them to exterminate, but the TARDIS force field is still present, and this was awesome, because obviously he doesn't have the sonic screwdriver, but he does have those sunglasses that he had last week were not just sunglasses. They're actually sonic sunglasses that reassembles the dispersed TARDIS around him and Clara, and that was fucking awesome when that happened. I mean, you knew, obviously, the TARDIS was going to come back. You knew there was going to be some way to get out of this. You knew that there just had to be. And the Daleks surround Missy, who tells them she's just had a clever idea, and we don't know what that is, but basically, I'm pretty sure that she said that she's their Time Lord, basically. So she's probably going to be their Time Lord, and maybe she's going to be the one to take over for Davros, because obviously Davros wanted the Doctor to take over, so maybe she's going to be the one to take over for him. We'll have to see how that works out. So the Doctor and Clara watch the Dalek city crumble, and the Doctor wonders how Clara was able to say the word mercy as a Dalek, and he then takes the Dalek weapon and runs to the TARDIS, and we basically are back to the scene we saw last week. He travels back to the child, Davros. He points the weapon and yells, "Exterminate!" But unlike last week, he actually doesn't kill Davros as a child. He's not going to do that. He's going to spare him. He shoots down the hand mines. He offers to take Davros home, and Davros asks the Doctor if he's the enemy. The Doctor said he's not sure if that matters, and as long as there's always mercy, the Doctor takes Davros' hand, they walk on, and that's how the episode ends. And I thought that was a very satisfying conclusion. I definitely really love what we got from that, I have to say. And yeah, I did not think this episode was as strong as last week's episode. I think last week's episode was definitely a lot stronger, just in terms of what was going on. I like this episode, definitely, but I just felt last week's was a lot stronger. This was still a fantastic episode, and there was so much great stuff in this episode. I loved all the emotional stuff between the Doctor and Davros, but something I'm very interested in seeing is what they're exactly doing with Missy. What is Missy's plan here? I don't think this is going to be something where this is just they're going to use in this episode and that's going to go away. I really feel they're going to utilize Missy more as a character, and I don't know how, but it just seems like she's becoming a much more essential part of the show, and I really like seeing that. Missy is a very complex character. One second she is helping the Doctor, but then the next second she's trying to kill him. That's just how she is. She's very powerful. She's kind of an attention whore, and that's something I love about Missy, is just how complex her character is. And I know it's kind of silly to say Missy is a complex character, but she really is, I have to say. And I think definitely the way they handled that was definitely very, very good, and I really enjoyed seeing that. Now, still, the Doctor has not told Clara what that confession ring was all about. He still has yet to tell her, and he's not telling her what he's hiding, because remember, Clara knows that the Doctor's hiding something, he still has not told her. This is definitely going to eat up inside of him for the rest of the season. I don't think this is going to be something that they're just going to forget about. This is definitely going to be something they're going to go back on. When they go back on it, I don't know, but they're going to go back on it at some point, and that's going to be really crazy to see what ends up happening with that. Definitely, that's going to be pretty insane to see what they do with that. And while some people said that this didn't really feel like, the best opener to a series, I think this was the perfect opener, because now we have this conflict of the Doctor having this confession and him not telling Clara about it. And plus, Davros is still out there. He's dying, but he's still out there, and who knows what could happen with that. I definitely feel that we're going to touch back upon Davros and Missy. Maybe, possibly a Davros and Missy team-up. I could kind of see that happening. I don't know. But I don't think this is Davros' last appearance in the show. I don't think we've seen the last of him. I think some people think we have. But I honestly don't think we have. I think there's more to see of Davros. What exactly there is to see, I'm not sure yet. But I definitely feel there's more that we need to see with Davros. And I don't know what that's going to be yet, but we'll have to see. But next week we have a whole new story. Apparently it's about like basically Clara wants to go on another adventure, and there's like it's gonna be about this underwater thing, which I like. I like that they're trying to do part one, part two episodes because they're a lot more thrilling, and definitely they have cliffhangers, and especially for ratings as well. Like instead of just one weekly adventure every week, it's more of just spaced out. It's more of a long story, and they did a very good job with this. This was probably the best part one, part two episode I've seen. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Doctor Who, obviously, but between this and the finale, I thought this was better, honestly. I thought this was better than the finale. I really loved last year's finale. I thought it was a great episode, but I thought this was even better because it really got into the Doctor's head, and it really showed him, we didn't really know what was going to happen in this episode. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought maybe Clara and Missy were just going to die. I thought Clara was going to be in this Dalek costume for possibly the rest of the season. I mean, I really didn't know what was going to happen here, and that's something I thought they did a very good job with. And like I said, this episode didn't really have a lot of action, but it was pretty thrilling in the long run. I was on the edge of my seat several times in this episode. I still thought it was a pretty thrilling episode, and overall, a very good conclusion to a very good two-parter, and hopefully this works out. My only fear is that I just feel it's going to become a bit formulaic, but it's a different story every week, so I don't think it's going to become too formulaic, but I think just part one, part two, we'll have to see how this works out, because part one, a lot of people say, oh, that was just exposition. I think it was a lot more than exposition. I think it gave us just an idea of what this season's going to be. There's a lot more at stake this series, and we'll have to see what ends up happening with that. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. What do you think of both parts? I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of these parts. I thought both parts were fantastic. Both part one and part two were both great. Which worked out better for you? For me, I thought part one was better as a whole, but I still thought part two, like I said, was a damn good episode. It wasn't a bad episode by any means. It was a fantastic episode. They both were great episodes in the long run, but I just felt that part one was a bit stronger than part two, which is not normally something that's true for Doctor Who. Most times part one is stronger, part two is stronger, and part one is not as strong. I found it was the opposite this time around. But I still really loved both these parts. I thought both of them were fantastic. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. That's basically my review. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for, I think, a movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.